everybody, including Lottie Dottie? It's your boy Retro. Let you know that registration for Mission 448 is open. You can register today and ride the four corners of your state or multiple states. Who's going to be the first to collect the four corners of each of the lower 48 states? Hashtag Who's Got Next. Register today and ride the four corners of your state.
Y'all make sure y'all check out the Retro Philosophy Show on YouTube with my man Retro. Like, subscribe, comment, share, copy the link, put it on Instagram in your bio, put it on your Facebook page. Send it to your mama, text it to somebody. But y'all make sure y'all follow this page, Retro Philosophy.
Yo, what's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? You already know what it is. It's your boy Retro with you on today. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. For obvious reasons. God's been better to me than I've been to myself, and He's been better to me than you or anybody else could ever be, times 12. True story, real talk. Let's see what we got going on here. So anyway, wanted to hop on and say what's up to everybody. Hopefully you're doing great. Today is a beautiful day to be alive. It's a beautiful day to be active in your miracle. There's a verse that pops in my mind, and it simply says, "We have not because we ask not." I wonder how many of us are going through things because we haven't literally just asked God for the solution. I'm trying to get my other shot in set up here. But for whatever reason, it doesn't want to cooperate. And that's not what I want either. Check it out, guys. If you have not already gone over to my YouTube channel and subscribed, please do so. Please do so. I tell you, we had everything all set up, ready to go. And because I know you don't want to just look at my ugly mug, even though my ugly mug is covered for obvious reasons. But I'm not hiding either, so, But this is Retro Philosophy TV, live on Tubes. I'm going to take you through some back roads today for a short time, so just stay with me. I'm going to go ahead and get this other shot prepared and bring it on in. And because I want you to see some of the curves and everything. Let's see. Maybe I can do this way, then I go here, and then we'll go here, boom, and then we will go here. What y'all got going on today, man? Light up the comment section. Let me know what's good here, so that way I'm not distracted while I try to get this sorted out, because you have people doing what this guy just did, which is pull right in front of you. And if your attention is anywhere other than in front of you, then you might have a slight issue. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, very well. So it looks like you're going to be stuck with just looking at me, guys, because this doesn't seem to want to act right. Normally we go live Monday through Friday from the studio with Morning Inspiration, where we typically open up with prayer, and then we go into a brief discussion with the purpose of encouraging the listening audience, because everybody could use a little encouragement from time to time. Would you agree with that, folks? Would you agree with that on this morning? Well, that really does suck, because I actually put time into the preparation of this broadcast, knowing that I was going to be doing it from the bike, and wanted to, add a little bit of option to it. Let me see if I can do this and then turn it back on. It'll pop on here just a little bit. I'm convinced. Uh, I've got a couple of assignments that I am going to be fulfilling on today, and I reverse the order. Assignments uh, given me because normally I go the same route in the same order. But sometimes in life it's good to mix things up. Would you agree? Yeah, sometimes called life. It's good. Thank you, sir, for the compliment on my helmet. I am wearing a what is this thing? Advent X by oh boy, brain fart, total brain fart. Um, Forgot the name of my helmet, guys. But anyway, it is the full modular. Came with the clear screen. I went with the colorful tinted screen, which works great on sunny days. But if you're getting caught at night in the rain, oh gosh, not so great. Ask me how I know. Um, but I've been extremely happy with this helmet. This is my second one. The first one I had was a great helmet as well by the same company. It's just that it was a lot heavier. It was a lot heavier, and this one here is the Advent X brand of the same company, and it's much lighter. And on those long rides, you'd be surprised how a little weight reduction can go a long way. You know what I mean? I see beautiful Shelly watching. Shelly McIver, what's going on, young lady? Thank you for play. I uh, and uh, and I do feel a little bit determined. If you're patient, I'll be. If you can be patient, I'll be determined. How about that? If you can be patient, I'll be determined to get this thing sorted out here. Um, Not going to pull over there. That's somebody's entrance and exit. Well, anyway, I'll talk as we continue down the road. Okay. It's good to switch things up sometimes because in doing so, we can discover a beauty that we would normally overlook. Again, I'm going to the same locations, but I'm switching it up. And because I switched up the order in which I'm visiting today, it allows me a different route. And uh, and on this route, it's just more scenic. I could have still hit the interstate, but sometimes you got to get off the interstate, guys. Sometimes you got to get off the interstate. I'm gonna pull over here in this parking lot up here. I should have pulled over and gassed up. That's what I should have did. But I got enough to get me to my first destination anyway. I take it that the audio is good enough. You guys can hear me. I think we finally got that sorted out. It is May, which is Motorcycle Awareness Month, Motorcycle Safety Awareness. It is also Mental Health Awareness Month, too. So it's a lot going on in May. So while you guys are out there, please beware of these folks out here on their motorcycles and scooters and slingshots and, whatever else. So I'm trying to get a little therapy, a little wind therapy, and I promise you that. So, look twice, save a life. Look 3 and 4 times and save some more. You know what I mean? So many people, nice pickup truck, I don't know what's going on. I'll tell you. I had everything set up, y'all. Mr. Mystery is in the building. What's going on? It's been a while indeed, sir, but it's good to see you back in pressing play. Even if it's a little while. I got an 18-wheeler behind me. Again, we're talking about motorcycle safety, right? So as well, that we're not putting ourselves in a position to cause someone to do something. Now, I could have made that turn back there, but I would have stopped abruptly, and the guy behind me is actually in an 18-wheeler, and guess what? Don't stop on a dime. So a lot of the safety issues that we have problems with, sometimes we sort of, kind of could put ourselves in a predicament. So, it's a two-way street and it's two to tango. So we want them to look out for us, but how about we, in return, also beware of them as well? Contrary to their beliefs, we don't own the highway. And so let me think here. I'm going off of memory and I'm not using my GPS. So as I'm talking and trying to figure all this stuff out, I got to make sure I keep my eye open for the correct turn as well. So much going on, but that too is the story of my life. Sorry, you're cutting out. It's kind of hard. Oh Lord, you see what I'm saying? If it ain't one thing, it's another. Thank you for letting me know that, Miss Mystery. I did just pop up my antenna on my center headset, so that may or may not make a difference. Uh, just not sure. We'll see here in just a second. So let me know if that made a difference as far as the audio. One day I'll have a foolproof system in place to where I can hop on the bike, go live, and be certain that everything will work as it did the last time. But then again, maybe not, right? Okay, let me take now the turn that I got to take. Um, where was that turn, for crying out loud? Where was that turn? I remember coming out. I took that road the other day. I was out and about, and I was just taking, the long way home. Okay, cool. It made a difference. Good. And I was out and about, and I just made a turn. I did have my GPS, and I told my GPS to avoid back roads. I mean, to avoid highways. So it had me on all back roads. But even still, I kind of deviated from the instructions, and it brought me out on a street. Oh, I remember now. I know exactly where it's at. Okay. Um, had to jog my memory there real quick. So I'll be making a right up here, probably about another mile or three, and that'll put me on the route that I want to be on. I don't think I'm going to get the other view working for you guys, unfortunately, and that's a bummer. You might lose my. Let's see. Oh, well, okay. There we go. I think that's. No, that's not it. No, no, that's not it. Oh, well, you're stuck like Chuck, guys. Here we go. Okay, there we go. All right. So, yeah, so I deviated from the instructions that the GPS was giving me because I knew the vicinity that I was in. And as long as you got gas, you ain't lost. You're just on a journey. And right now, I'm actually below a quarter tank. I got 56 miles empty, and that's not good. Going to Salisbury. I'm in Salisbury today, uh, a different route. It's not. It's interesting because there are so many to get to most of the time. perception of time. That's I don't know what to even call that, but we go the same route every single time. And I use this as an example. Many of us we buy our iPhones and Blackberries and Nextels and whatever phone it is that you're using. I remember Nextel and Singular and all that stuff. Um, but we buy our phones, we take them out the box, and we never even change the ringtone. We stick with the same ringtone for the life of the phone. And it's just an example of how we uh, don't like change or how we're not so readily open to change. But sometimes that's exactly what we need, a little bit of change. Um, so let me see if I can do this, and then I will do this. I'm telling you, if you'll be patient, I'll be determined. And I think that could be a good team right there. Yep, I think that could be a good team. Patience and determination. The Bible says we have need of patience. And then it turns around and says, be not weary in well doing. So I'm going to put those two together and say that patience and determination, it's a good team. All right? And guess what, folks? Bada boom, bada bang, we've got action. I did all that just to give you that cheesy little shot. Look at them vultures over. Something's dead and it stinks too. Um, but hey, it's something, right? Um, in a perfect world, ladies and gentlemen, we'd have maybe a slight bit more of sunshine. Um, but hey, it is what it is, and it could be a whole lot worse. Now you said, man, that ain't no kind of a ride. Well, hey, tomato, tomato, to each his own. Um, I this is what I like. I like some old country roads that lead to nowhere but can get you anywhere. And as you can see, I'm just cruising. I need some old country soul music playing in the background, but I don't want to get copyright. But they like 73 degrees with a slight breeze, and you can get out here and just enjoy it. This will be perfect for my wife and other new riders who are, just want to get some seat time and get familiar with the bike and build your confidence. Now, right here, this road, this is what they talk about, 9 miles of country road. Everybody tell you you look like 9 miles of country road, man. That's what, yeah, all these bumps and, it's wiggly and they're doing some clearing over there. So I take it they're going to do some building. You're seeing more and more farmland disappear, and you're starting to see subdivisions and plazas and everything pop up, which is, boy, I guess that's the name of the game, though. But I can get out here like this, and here in where I'm at in North Carolina, um, man, there's some good riding. A lot of country roads out here. You can spend. My wife and I did it one time. We probably spent an hour and a half, 2 hours riding um, through backcountry roads and never got more than 30 miles from the house. I mean, because it's like they're almost like a maze once you get back in some of these country roads, and it swoops around and loops around, and it's just this is the kind of riding that I can get out and just enjoy. Some people want to go fast and go far, and I like to do that too. But you give me some country road riding. As a matter of fact, as I was riding the other day on a portion of this road, I was thinking about the Genesis ride, which is the ride that we do January 1st every year. And I was contemplating whether or not we would include portions of this ride in the Genesis ride. Normally, when we do the Genesis ride, we try to incorporate a little bit of everything, a little bit of interstate, a little bit of the city, and some country roads. And normally, we would try to do that. The Genesis ride again is the ride that we do every first um, of the year. All right, Mr. Mystery, thank you for tuning in, sir. Enjoy your lunch. And yes, sir, we will see you on the next go round. Now, I could literally take a right or I could take a left, and I'm going to make the choice to take this left. It's going to take me further, but it'll also get me to where I need to go, nonetheless. Out here on some of these country roads, man, you come across some structures, and that just makes you say, hmm. But again, this will be a great ride for, like I said, a new rider who wants to, in their curves and things of that nature, because you definitely have the curves, but you don't have all the traffic. You don't have as much intersections. And even when you do come to an intersection, you got time to slow down to make your turn or continue straight, whatever, without the pressure of an impatient driver in the car honking. And I think that's what scares a lot of new much riding. They know how to do that, especially if they've taken the course. They know how to literally ride the motorcycle, but it's the other drivers in the other cars that makes them nervous and causes it to be a bad experience while they're out riding. So for my learning to ride, and you said night riding. Yep, night riding in the winter. Yep. When she learned how to ride that motorcycle, she learned in the wintertime at night. And it just ended up working out like that. But I'm glad it did because she conquered two things, right away: riding in the cold and riding at night. There are some people to this day who've been riding for years who still don't like riding at night. They still have a problem with it, and we know we got even more people that ain't riding at all because it's too cold. And so my wife, she her beginning stages and conquered night riding and riding in the cold. Um, right now, there's a couple in town that she struggles with. Why? I really don't know. Um, one of them is by a graveyard, and I don't think the graveyard has to do with it. But the graveyard does do a dip, and it kind of goes up this hill. And while the cars are coming down, I think that's probably the issue because she can see the traffic from such a distance as they're coming down the hill, and I guess matter of fact, I think she even said she feels as though they're gonna come into her lane, and so she will get so far to the right, here's the heck out of it. Either a car to swerve because there's swerve right off to encourage uh, that's an old. It looks like old EX500, which was the first bike that I ever had. When I was about 15, I bought that joint. But anyway, country riding is good for first-time riders or for new riders because you can get out here and get some seat time, but you can do it based on your own comfort level. Because like right now, what's this? I don't even know what the speed limit is. I'm inside the city limit, so it's probably 35. That's what I would imagine. No, it must be. It's in the curve. It says 45, and I'm doing about 43, literally. So I'm gonna take this turn here, some more, a little small, narrow. See, and we're just riding, guys. I don't really have anything to talk to you about. This is Retro TV, Retro Philosophy TV. Um, I'm gonna be doing some things to where I let you see the end of my life. See how that goes. So often we get to the camera what we want, and we like to document, edit this and edit that to give you a perception that sometimes it's not real, you know. And and so I found out that life is unedited. You know, sometimes you don't get a do-over. You might get a second chance, but the second chance is not a do-over. And sometimes we spend our second chances trying to right the wrong we did the first time around, and you really can't do that. I mean, you can use the previous experience as the principle for you to do better. I'm cool with that, you know, by all means, do better. But this is a complete different, you know, go, you know. So anyway, what is your kind of riding? Again, like I said, some people love the highway riding because they can, you know, they get on that throttle and hold that thing open. You know what I mean? Let's see. I'm gonna take a left here, guys, or should I take a right? What say ye? I know where I'm at. I'm taking a left. Take a right, I'll end up in Mooresville. Take this left, I'll end up in Salisbury after a while, and that's where I want to end up at, Salisbury. But sometimes I do get out here and I come to a corner that I've never been before, and I say, "Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which way shall I go?" And all right, now, Granny, throwing all the grass out in the road. Y'all see that? I talked about this once before on a live that I was doing. Maybe you're a new rider, and it might be good for you to hear this. When you're out here on these tubes, there's so many things to pay attention to. I lifted up my visor for a reason because now the breeze is getting in my face. And but true story, you can smell that grass before you see the grass. You can smell it, and that's an important clue that somebody's cutting grass, obviously. Um, so when you for a few years, well, I did a landscape company, Big Lord Landscaping, lawn care that's fair, and we've been uh, getting it going again. But nevertheless, neither here nor there. My point is, and I'm a biker, so when I'm doing lawns, I'm conscious of the fact that a motorcyclist may come by this road before I can get back to blow it off. So what do? I cut away from the road. You know, sometimes it's a slight inconvenience, but it's worth it. And it even helps you with less time you got to get out in the road to blow it back off. And of course, some guys, they won't even blow it off, they'll just leave it out there. But because I'm a biker and I know what that can do for our ride, it could end our ride, it could potentially end our life. Because if you're in a curve, and like I said, a lot of these country roads, man, they're curvy. And you come around that bend, there's all that grass. While you're in that curve, leaning it down, chances are you may go down. But if you're coming around that bend and you smell that smell of fresh cut grass, okay, you govern yourselves accordingly. And you do one or two things. Well, first thing you ought to do is let off of that throttle and begin to look. And there's a thing that we teach you. It's called C, search, evaluate, and execute. Those are the three things that should be on your mind while you're riding your motorcycle. I don't know if you notice or not, but, you know, my head is doing one of these numbers, you know, because I'm looking off to the right, I'm looking off to the left. I'm checking my rearview mirror, notice that I got this Dodge behind me, Dodge Ram, about a good 1500 Dodge Ram, you know, black, about 2017 model. Um, and he may be a little bit impatient, right? I'm just cruising. I'm really not even doing the speed limit. But while I'm cruising, you know, I've got to see, search, evaluate, and to execute. All right. So my hand is covering the clutch just in case I got to dump a gear and get up real quick out of his way. Because he might be on his phone or he might be eating a Whopper with cheese or something and not paying attention to me braking. And so because I'm seeing, search, search, evaluate, and execute, or search, execute. Search, evaluate, and be ready to execute. Like they say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So there's a good chance that this guy might be a motorcyclist himself because he is really giving me a buffer now. Um, and you see that sometimes, you'll be out there motorcycle, ride. Like my sister, for instance, you know, um, me and the wife went on a cross country trip a few years back, Dayton, uploading pictures from different locations. She was reposting those pictures, but she had patched herself into the pictures, like she was there with us. And a couple of them, I'm like, wait a minute. And so we gave, but because she also got my location too, so she be stalking me, she'll notice that I'm sitting somewhere a little bit too long. She come calling or texting me, "You good? You've been sitting still." I said, "Yeah, sis, I'm good, I'm good." But that's cool, because when you're out here on these motorcycles, somebody needs to know where you're at. But anyway, my sister, well, so whenever she's on a motorcycle, and she because they're concerned about me and we have relationship, and it doesn't be more aware as a whole or in general. It's a win-win. So anyway, that grass will get you if you're not careful. Another thing that you have to be worried about, you may not have to be worried about the traffic as much out here on some of these country roads. But one thing that you will see from time to time is livestock. You know what I mean? And so you can't get out here and get enamored with the scenery and the feeling of bliss and serenity because there might be a cow up ahead that got out of the pastures, or a horse, or a pig, or ducks. There's a pond that we passed a little while back, and the other day on my way there was, and they will act like they own the road too. They sure enough will. I'm still trying to remember the name of my helmet, y'all. I can't believe that um, I've had this brain fart like that. So much stuff going on in my little life, guys. Yesterday I wasn't feeling too well. Today I'm still not feeling 100%. And my wife, when I told her I was getting ready to go, she's like, "You gonna ride?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a ride." And I feel better now, though. I feel a little bit better now. I do, but I'm not 100%. I was scheduled to be in Louisiana last weekend, and but we also had an influencers ride here locally, and which I'm a part of that group. I support those brothers, and so I chose to stay home and support the local movement. Uh, but in addition to that, I was telling the wife, I said my body wasn't really up to par for that ride anyway. And one thing we got to do is we got to be honest with ourselves. If your body's not up to par, it just ain't up to par. And you get out here on these motorcycles, and this road take a toll on you. And if you're already starting out, low, well, that's nice. What's going to happen once you Right. Situations and what was normally an easy ride can turn into a different ride. And so right now I'm going through. So I don't know if the audio is chipping in and out or even the video, but I'm getting a notification that signal has been lost and is trying to reconnect. So there's so many more roads like this around here, guys. You could get on your scooter, you could ride for hours without even leaving outside of, your county, at least here anyway. And so I tell you what, man, speaking of not being 100% and not being up to par, I need something to eat. I couldn't remember if I took a right or a left here. So I took a right. When in doubt, do what's right. Huh? How about that? I'm scanning my head right now. I know where I'm going, and I'm scanning my brain to see what kind of eateries are in that vicinity so that I can sit down and fill my gut because I am hungry. And it just hit me out of the blue all of a sudden, for real. I had a bowl of cereal this morning, and it has since wore off. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Unedited, if you are in the North Carolina area and you want to hang out with your boy Retro, man, we'll be in Gastonia this coming Saturday for the fifth annual cricket ride. All proceeds go to the Cricket Scholarship Foundation, and they award 3 students every year with a scholarship, which is great. I spoke with Lowrider this morning. Everything is up to par and in place, so we're looking forward to fellowshipping with the dinosaur riders, Gastonia, and all the other great folks that are there every year in attendance. And like I said, if you want to come out and fellowship with us, break bread, that would be cool, man. Come on out and check us out. I think I should have turned back there. I think I should have. But and I'm on E, so I really don't have enough gas to be out here playing around with it. 40 miles still empty. Let me talk about that. That's not something normally that I do. I don't like riding tank to tank. I know a lot of guys, they swear by it and they take pride in riding tank to tank. I personally think it's stupid. Um, and I should have fueled up before, right after leaving the house. As a matter of fact, I should have fueled up before I parked it the night before, the day before. That's typically my rule of thumb. If you're on E, fuel up before you go home because you never know. You might have to hop up in the morning and don't have time. You could oversleep or something and don't have time to stop by the gas station. So I knew better. Um, my plan was really not to touch my bike until it was time to head down to the benefit ride Saturday morning. I had every intention of, detailing my bike tomorrow and do everything to get it ready for the ride on Saturday. Um, but I got up this morning and said I would ride. So, uh, but anyway, I should have fueled up. Uh, I don't like riding tank to tank, man, because I just don't see a point in it. You know, usually once I get down to a half a tank, I kind of place it in my mind. Okay, watch the gas gauge retro, because by the time we get down to a quarter of a tank, we need to be at a gas station. I don't know if you've ever run out of gas before. I have, I wouldn't have if I wouldn't have got sidetracked. But it's a blessing that we had a just in case can with us that day. We were riding through Texas on our way to California and leaving out of Louisiana. I said, you know what? Let me fill this little gas can up with gas just in case. That's what I said to the wife. And I strapped it to the front of the trailer. I said, this is the just in case can. And we got to Ozona that night, and it was cold. It was dark. We were getting tired, and my fog lights had went out on me. It wasn't the lights. I found out later on that it was actually the switch that went bad. And so my wife, as a passenger, was concerned as we were coming through the hills of Texas that night, and rightfully, and she said, "Hey, babe, let's just call it a night." And I was feeling good emotionally and physically. You know, I was good. I could have rode the rest of the night. But when I'm riding with my wife, you know, I'm not just riding my ride. I'm riding our ride. So she was concerned. So therefore, I said, "Okay, babe." Um, so we got off at this exit, which we found out to be Ozona, Texas. We were tired. We were hungry. Couldn't find any place to get anything to eat. Couldn't find a gas station. So I said, you know what? We'll just stop at this little convenience store that was open, and we grabbed some snacks. And I said, let's find a room, and then we'll just fuel up in the morning and call it a day. And oh, you know what? I'm mixing a couple things up here, and I'm going the wrong way. I was out in Kannapolis the other day, and that's when I found this route. And so I'm actually going the wrong way. I'm going back toward Kannapolis. I need to make my way over um, to Salisbury. But anyway, we found a hotel. We got some the next morning, and as I was loading the rest of the things back up on the bike that we had taken off, there was a couple already there at the bike, and they were admiring the bike. And so we got to talking, and they were asking where we were coming from, where we were going, so on and so forth. And in the conversation, I just, totally forgot about the fact that we had to go get gas. So after we ended the conversation, we hop on the bike, we say our goodbyes, and we take off. Down the road, I have to look down, and my gas light came. I said, "Oh, we forgot." So, man, listen, there was no next exit. Well, there was a next exit, but there was no gas there. And next thing you know, that fuel light was on, and it said, 12 miles still empty, 10 miles still empty. Then it just said low range, and that thing was, so I pulled over, and we took that little gas can we had back there. We put it in there. It was only about a gallon, might have been a gallon and a half, if that. It wasn't even enough to turn the gas light off. And so eventually we did make it to a gas station and was able to fuel up. And for the rest of the trip, guess what? Yeah, we got down to a half a tank. I was already looking for a gas station. And they also say that when you ride like that, you stand a greater chance of sucking up debris into your system when riding it on E all the time. Because sometimes there's sediments and stuff like that in the gas, and so for that reason as well, I don't like to run my bike or my car for that matter on E any longer than I have to. All right, I'm extremely hungry at this point. Ooh, and there's a restaurant, guys. No way, Jose, Mexican restaurant. No way. Okay, I know exactly where I'm at now, and there's a lot of cars over here too. What time we got? It's almost 1 o'clock, so breakfast is over. I'm wondering if I need to find a place where they serve breakfast all day. Um, China Grove Family House. I don't know. Uh, Anybody ever been to China Grove Family House? Catering available. They're packed out, which is somewhat a good sign, right? I don't know. I'm not feeling compelled, and so I'm gonna keep it pushing. We may put that on our list and come back and try that at a later date. Uh, Popo over there eating. All right, so apparently we are in China Grove, um, small town between Landis and Salisbury, and man, it's been a long time since I don't even think I've. Ooh, guess what we just found, guys? And guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna stop because that's a pretty cool mural. For those of you who do not know, we have a page on Facebook called Mural Hunting on Twos, and it's all about murals. And I think I know the artist. Yep, Abstract Descent. He's a who has a pretty cool uh, story, or some might even say testimony. Um, but let me see what we got here. Maybe I ought to do this. Bada boom, bada bang. I definitely gotta get me some grub, y'all. So this is what I do. I haven't gone mural hunting on an official mural hunt in a while. Past couple of days, I've been out here and there, and I have come across a few, which is why it's so important to sometimes just get out and explore, because you can come across some things that you weren't looking for. And but normally when I go on a mural hunt, I might start out on Google and kind of have a outline as to where I'm going to at least start. And you'll be surprised in some of these little small towns, the artwork that you can find. A lot of times they'll put them on the old buildings, and so you can really come across some nice murals. Uh, so this here is a brewing company, Grove Cartel, and the artist is Abstract Descent. Like I said, he is a local artist, and he does some really good work, man. So I think I'm gonna end this live here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab me a couple pictures. If you want to see the outcome of the pictures, make sure you go to our Facebook group, and feel free to subscribe to join. It is primarily for motorcycles, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching Retro Philosophy TV, where life is unedited. And I'm a little bit behind schedule because of this stop, but not too bad. I'll still be able to get to where I got to get to and do what I got to do. That joint is fly though. I like that. Again, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Retro Philosophy Show. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can even follow us on Twitch, which we are currently streaming to YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram if things went right. I tried to set everything up this morning before I left the house. I'll grab these couple pictures, guys, and then we're going to get out of here. Y'all be blessed.